Hello and welcome again to the Poplar Grove Vintage Wings and Wheels Museum. My name is Mike Fredrickson and I am the Curator and Education Coordinator here at the museum. Today we have a little bit of a craft and an experiment for kids to do at home with their parents. What we're going to build today is what's known as an FPG-9 glider. Now this glider is an excellent test platform to do some experiments on the principles of flight. Now to do this, we're going to need a certain amount of materials here. One, you're going to need a foam 10-inch plate. You'll need a pen or pencil, some scissors, some tape, and you also need a penny. Now to get the template, you can actually go to a website, www.buildandfly.com. You can download and print out your own template. And the template will look something like this. And again, the object is we're going to build this nifty little guy here. So what we do, first thing is once you have your template cut out, you want to put it on top of your foam plate. Now the one thing you really want to be careful with here is this little part that sticks out here. You want to make sure that is on the flat part of the plate and not on the arching curved part here. That's very important later on, so we want to make sure you do that. So what we'll do is we'll just trace this out, again using your pen and paper. If you need some help, make sure to ask your parents. There's going to be a couple little indents here in the actual wing here, so you want to make sure you're able to mark those as well. And there's a few different spots here, which I'll show you once I actually get this traced myself. Switch hands. And you want to make sure you get them in the center wing here, which I'll show you right here. These here, those are very important. Do not forget those when you're doing your tracing. When you're done, it'll look something like this. Now, when it comes to actually cutting it out, I find the easiest way to do this is actually always cut from the outside in. There's going to be a couple sharp turns in here, and if you try to make the turns in the styrofoam, it either bends or breaks the styrofoam, so it makes it a little bit more difficult. So the easiest way to do it is just always outside in. I'll give you a demonstration here. So for this part here, we'll cut along here. Instead of trying to make that turn, it's easier to come from the outside in this way and cut it. It looks like that. And then keep going all the way through it. Again, outside in when you get to some of the sharper turns. You get there, and then again, outside in. Now the more accurate you make the cuts and the tracing, the straighter your airplane will fly. So try to be as precise as you can with it. But little minor mistakes and errors will not make a huge difference. Again, outside in when you get to the sharp corners. So once you're there, you should have this little guy here. Now again, you want to make sure you cut the little inlets here. I don't know what the proper word is for that, but get here, and that forms a little aileron, which is a little wing on an airplane that helps the airplane turn. So once you get to this stage, the next thing we're going to do is we want to pretend there's a little line that runs straight from here to here, and we want to cut along that line. So at the end, it's going to look something like this. And you want to, at this point, you also want to cut the center portion here as well. I find the easiest way to do it is to cut one little line on the outside portion and another little line just a couple millimeters past that. So then you have a little tiny strip here that comes out. You can kind of see it like this. And then that part you can just easily just tear off. And that makes it fairly easy to make that little slit here. Now at this point, we want to cut the aileron out on this side. It's just 2 little cuts right there. And next we have our tail here. So what we want to do with this, you see this little line here that we traced out. We just want to put a little cut here. Then we want to flip it over where it's got these 2 lines. And this is actually going to be a rudder, similar to the aileron. So you just want to make 2 little slits right there so we can actually bend this part here. Once you have that cut out, we're going to put our tail on the airplane. And that's going to slide right here. So you should have something that looks similar to this. Now this isn't too stable right now, so we're going to add a little bit of tape to make this a little bit stronger. So I find the easiest way to do this is to add tape to both corners, or both sides rather, and you really kind of want to get it in the crease down here. And this can go over, so you see how it's kind of right where that meets in the corner of the styrofoam there. And you want to do that on both sides, top and bottom. And that'll make the airplane very, very strong. And the stronger it is and the straighter it is, you want to make sure this is nice and straight on the airplane. The straighter it is, the straighter the airplane's going to fly and the better your experiments will actually be. So if it's off to the side like this, the airplane's going to want to turn or move to a different direction than you want it to go. So we're going to do that, like I said, on both sides. And that'll make it nice. So if you're doing it at home, you'll notice that it's getting much more strong here on the tail of the airplane. It's getting much harder to move. And that's exactly what you want. The little it moves, the better it's going to be for you. So at this point, your airplane should look like this. You have your tail here, you have your 2 ailerons, and your rudder. So if you were to try to throw this now, in fact, I encourage you to throw it right now at home and see what happens. I'll do a little bit of demonstration here for you. Doesn't fly too well, right? So what we actually have to do now is add a little bit of weight to the front, and that's going to turn this into a real glider. Now, because we are a vintage museum, I have a 1943 penny I'm going to use. You're welcome to use any modern pennies you have at home as well. So what we want to do is put this here, right on the tip of the airplane, and this little part here that juts out, that's actually going to be a tab that covers your penny. And then we want to use our tape again and secure that in place. So now your airplane will look like this. And now, when you go to fly it, it flies. So what I wanted you to do at home now is play with the airplane. You have one like this. We have our ailerons on here, which you can move up and down or left and right. And I want you to play with those and see what happens when you throw the airplane. And I want you to write down what you think is going to happen and what the airplane actually does. In a few days, we're going to post a follow-up video to this that's going to explore the concepts of why the airplane is doing what it's doing and why that's important that we learn how to know that in terms of aviation and flight. So for now, we will see you later, and we will check in with you in a couple days. Thank you.